The most valuable parts of the online mentoring sessions for me so far have been, firstly, the surprise that there were so many and that we would have such expertise, such access to expertise, and that the industry experts, artists, writers, publishers, editors, mentors, that there would be such an incredible generosity of spirit in the information that they were going to share, the warm welcome the writers received, the validation that our stories are worthy and good, the excitement for the project as a whole. I think the warmth, the generosity, the sharing of information, the hospitality that's been shown by the organizers, that has been just a wonderful experience and very unexpected and very appreciated. To have top tier individuals across this country give you personal attention and one-on-one feedback and bring you all together in this space to celebrate art has been wonderful, and I feel very privileged and honored to be part of the process. My writing and creative thinking has evolved since the sessions began in taking myself out of my own private imaginative space and taking a step back and having a look at the broader conversation, at the zeitgeist of the country, at connecting with fellow writers, artists and thinkers, and being very comforted that there is a certain South Africanness that is very common to our experience and our representation, and then there's that wonderful diversity that gives us each a unique voice and a unique set of characters and an approach to storytelling and the way in which we perceive our society and want to comment on it, whether in a serious way, a political way, or an entertaining way. I've valued the experience of the diversity of voices that I've come to meet during this experience. I think the most important, and it all resonated, and there's been so much of it, is the issue of having a set of values as a writer. Whether you're getting up and presenting yourself at the podium, if you're part of a panel discussing work, if you go to festivals or book fairs, if you simply meet someone, if you stand by the work that you've produced, that there's a set of values that guides your artistic vision, your creative endeavor. There's a set of values that guides the storytelling that you want to accomplish, and that you're consistent in your, although you might have a range of storytelling, obviously many characters, many scenarios, different plots, as varied as your imagination allows, but that ultimately the person who writes has to stand by a set of values that can be communicated to an audience, to readers, to fellow artists and writers, and that is a coherent set of values, and that it's consistent and stable and strong, and is the organizing principle that binds your work together, that helps you produce a body of work, but it also helps you step into the world with a very strong voice. And that when someone knows that this individual, this particular writer has put something out, they understand what motivates that work. I think the validation, I think the recognition, just being longlisted and being invited into the community, that has helped me define my identity. It's given me permission to call myself a writer. I mean, I've written my whole life. I've never not written. But when there's external validation, there's great excitement at being able to step into that identity as a writer and say, this is what I do, this is who I am. And that's been a very powerful shift for me. A breakthrough moment in my story or process, there's that old adage that you've got to learn to kill your darlings. I forget which famous writer said that. And there's been some debate around whether or not that's the approach that you take. That you've got to be able to put your ego aside and look at your work honestly, receive feedback, not be too precious or defensive about constructive criticism, but hear what readers have to say. And that you would have the confidence and the strength and the self-esteem, a strong enough self-esteem to turn around and admit when a part of your work isn't working and see if you can't craft it better. And that's something that's been both challenging and rewarding, is to put one's ego aside and accept the conversations that occur around your text, and being confident enough to appreciate people's taking the time to share their opinion with you and then doing something very constructive with it. I think this has been a challenge. I would consider myself a perfectionist. I'm sure many writers would want to identify as perfectionists. So when you think that you've done the most perfect thing, and you've spent many hours tweaking and crafting and writing and rewriting and revising and editing, checking that diction, the sentence structure, the syntax, making sure that the voice is just how you want it, and positioning those characters in relation to one another, and it's very clear and concrete in your mind. And then to have to take a step back and go, well, I felt that was perfect, and I felt that that was the final touch. And then to hear that, well, it's not the final touch. You're going to have to rework that. That takes tremendous courage and strength and energy to go back to that page and say, okay, how can I do this differently? How can I do it better? I think that's been very challenging, is to grapple with the disappointment of when you think something is just finished and polished, only to realize that it isn't and it needs more work. There's a tremendous amount of stamina that is required as a writer. It's blood, sweat and tears. It's very hard work, and you have to have courage and stamina to see it through. And it's too tempting to throw in the towel. Yes, you've written the 20th draft, the 26th draft. You've worked a particular paragraph 30 times. Maybe a sentence has been written and rewritten and taken in and put in and taken out. And only to hear that you've got to get up and do it one more time. It isn't quite right. You can do better. That's been tough. Being part of the group has been electrifying. I can't wait to read the other stories. I can't wait to meet my fellow writers and colleagues in person. We've only seen each other online. We haven't had an opportunity to have personal one-on-one conversations with one another. It's just been in a group setting, but I already feel a connection to these other writers. I'm so honored and privileged to be in the same space as them. It's just really exciting, and I feel honored and privileged. This is what writing is. All writers want to be read. We want to be part of communities. We want recognition and validation. And this is the opportunity to experience that. And I couldn't be happier. I'm most looking forward to meeting the other writers. I'm most looking forward to reading their stories. That's why I do what I do. I'm an English teacher, a reader, and a writer. It's my identity, it's my life, it's what I do every single day. I think every single day of my existence since I can remember as a child is every day I'm either reading or writing or teaching or talking about reading, writing, or teaching. It's all about literature and stories and art, and I find the humanities to be a very enriching field, and I've been honored to be a part of any artistic process, any learning process. So to look forward to meeting my fellow writers in person, getting to know them, what motivated their stories, how did they find the process. Ask questions. I think that's come to the table with questions. Come to the space, firstly, with an open mind, to understand that everything you thought you knew, there's always something more to learn. Have pen and paper ready. I've taken copious notes. I always take notes. And to listen, to be open, to take notes, to ask questions, and to get as involved as possible, to be fully present. And you sort of squeeze all the juice out of those experts. They've got so much to offer, and they're so generous with their time and expertise.